Hi guys, so this is just a bit. Hi guys, this is just a bit of information on our 2.3 assessment and what you need to complete in terms of this. So we've now finished all our content and the teaching is complete, so we can now be working towards completing our assessment. You've now participated in both individual and group training sessions, so you should have reflected on these. You should be completing training plans. At the moment, our practical day is Monday, so you should be doing that on a Monday. Most of you have engaged with my study series, but you can go back and refer back to the 2.3 if you need any further information. And our next step is our assessment. Okay, so here is when we go back to our 2.3 working document. So this is in classroom. Okay, so it comes up with these key questions. Okay, so what does this method of training involve? How does it relevant to your chosen sport, and where would you use it within your training program? And the components of fitness and principles of training that you used. Okay, so this is the first thing. So we're going to comment on each method of training that we used, and you have to complete 4 of these. Okay, so when we come to answer these questions, this is the key thing we want you to be able to take note or understand from each one. Okay, so you can access assessment exemplars. Okay, this is available to you, but remember that this is other students' work, so it cannot be used within your assessment because that would be plagiarism. Okay, I'm going to go through some of the exemplars that we've created for you. So to get an achieved, you need to basically outline what the method of training is, where you used it, a couple of examples, and briefly mention the components of fitness or link to something. Okay, you might mention a couple of strengths and weaknesses, but this will just be a list and be very brief. Okay, in terms of body responses, this would be limited and it doesn't explain these, and it's more like a list. Okay, almost like you've Googled it and not put any of your own insight in, and it only talks about a couple of things that can be changed. Okay, so here's an example of an achieved exemplar, so have a read through this, pause the video and have a read through on what an achieved looks like. Okay, our next thing for merit, so you've done what is required for achieve, but you start to elaborate and explain things in terms of components of fitness, principles of training and methods of training. Okay, so you've started to compare how they relate to each other, and interrelated ideas and examples can refer back to your own sport. Okay, you've got more variety and you've started to explain things better, and you've started to look at solutions to overcome different things. And then in terms of your body responses, these show links to other things. So this is looking at exercise physiology and some of the different things that we discuss in terms of our body's responses. And then when it talks about modifications, you've listed quite a few and explained these, and you compare to quite a few previous experiences. Okay, so here is a merit exemplar, so feel free to pause the video and have a read through this. Remember, this is someone else's work, so it cannot be copied. So there's a couple of pages for this, so this is it continued. So as I said, pause it, have a read through. Okay, excellence. Okay, so this is where we should be seeing interrelationships all over the show. Okay, so remember, an interrelationship is relating different principles. So you can talk about a method of training and what principles of training are important within that, or you can relate strengths and weaknesses to how the body responds to different things. Okay, so for this you still need to be working at merit, but you need to demonstrate a confident understanding of the method, and you're constantly linking to other things. You refer back to your program and how your experiences have impacted your understanding of this method of training, or why your body's reacted that way. Okay, you can also provide different definition and examples, so this is where you should be linking into outside sources and websites and making sure that you've actually got stuff to back up and evidence to back up what you are saying. Okay, so here's an exemplar for excellence. Okay, so pause this, have a read through. There are 3 pages for this. Okay, so make sure you have a read through of all of these. Cool. Okay, so our assessment marking schedule will be shared with you on your classroom. Okay, so it looks like this. Okay, so it tells you what you need to do for each section of this assessment. if we then went to, it requires 4 methods of training to be discussed, and you have to refer to at least 4 different principles of training as well. Okay, so make sure we go back, we look at my study series, we look at our individual and group training session reflections, we look at our principles of training work, okay, and how it relates to our sport, and look at all the assessment information given to you. Okay, the timeline for this, so by Monday the 30th of April, term 2, week 1, so that is our first day back. We have PE first spell. Okay, it is a practical activity. We need to have completed 1 method of training outline. Okay, so we have 2 lessons in class this week, and then your own time to work on this. Okay, our final draft submission for feedback is term 2, week 5, so that's Friday the 1st of June. If you need feedback at any point, you need to be messaging and emailing us so we know to go into it. Okay, the final assessment submission for this, which you'll get a grade for afterwards, is end of term 2, so Friday the 6th of July. Okay, so it is quite a bit of written work, but remember we only have 2 written assessments to complete for this course. Okay, so make sure we use the stuff that we've already completed to help answer our assessment. Cool, get to it. Remember, we want to give feedback, so you just have to ask.